All right, get ready to dive deep. Today, we're exploring Mycolactone,
Yeah.
the stealth toxin behind Buruli ulcer.
It's amazing, isn't it, how something so tiny can just slip under the radar, silently wreaking havoc.
Totally. We've got a ton of research here,
Yeah.
and I'm really curious about how this whole stealth mode thing works.
Well, so Buruli ulcer is caused by this bacteria, Mycobacterium ulcerans.
Right.
But it's the mycolactone that this bacteria produces that's really the driving force behind the disease.
So it's like the bacteria is the getaway car, but Mycolactone is the one actually pulling off the heist.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And the heist in this case is this gradual and often painless destruction of skin and soft tissue.
That's what I find so unsettling about Buruli ulcer, the
Yeah.
fact that it can progress so far without any real, pain or inflammation. It's like the toxin is actively trying to stay hidden.
It's really one of the most fascinating things about mycolactone, its immunosuppressive nature. You see, it actively disarms the local immune response, which prevents the body from mounting a strong defense against the infection.
So while the immune system is distracted, Mycolactone is kind of free to do its thing.
Precisely.
And this is why early diagnosis of Buruli ulcer can be so tricky.
Exactly. There are often no warning signs in those early stages.
Yeah.
Just maybe a little subtle swelling, easy to miss.
Oh, wow. That makes it really hard to seek treatment before it becomes really serious.
Absolutely. By the time the ulcers, the characteristic ulcers, actually appear, mycolactone has already infiltrated and disrupted the actual cellular structure of
Yeah.
the skin and the underlying tissues.
That's pretty terrifying. It's like a silent saboteur working from the inside out.
A very apt description. And to make things worse, mycolactone also has analgesic properties, which means it can actually block pain signals.
Wow. So not only does it suppress the immune system, but it also masks the pain. This toxin is like playing on hard mode.
It is. And this delayed pain response further complicates things, leading to, delayed diagnosis and treatment.
So Mycolactone is basically a master manipulator,
Yeah.
controlling the host's responses
Yeah.
to its own advantage.
It's a really remarkable example of how a single molecule can essentially hijack the body's incredibly complex machinery.
I mean, it makes you wonder if, this understanding of Mycolactone's immunosuppressive abilities
Yeah.
could be used for other things, maybe in managing autoimmune disorders.
That's a really interesting thought. Imagine if scientists could harness that ability
Yeah.
and control it. The potential for treating diseases where the immune system is actually attacking the body's own
Oh,
cells. It's huge.
it really is incredible how something so harmful could
Mhm.
potentially, hold the key to new medical breakthroughs.
It's a testament to that duality in nature, isn't it? Even the most detrimental substances sometimes offer, unexpected insights and potential solutions.
Absolutely. But for now, let's get back to kind of the villain of our story, Mycolactone. The research on this toxin is pretty fascinating, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. Studying mycolactone is giving us this incredible window into the complex world of host-pathogen interactions.
Right.
Scientists are learning so much about how bacteria can manipulate the human body at a molecular level.
So understanding Mycolactone isn't just crucial for treating Buruli ulcer, but for understanding bacterial infections more broadly.
Exactly. By untangling the mysteries of this toxin, researchers are hoping to develop more targeted therapies that can, neutralize its effects and boost the body's natural defenses.
That would be huge for those suffering from Buruli ulcer.
It would. And beyond that, the knowledge gained from studying mycolactone could have implications for other areas of medicine as well.
That's where it gets really exciting. This one tiny molecule might just unlock a whole new world of possibilities in medicine.
It's a powerful reminder that even the smallest things in the molecular world can have these massive impacts on human health.
And speaking of small things with big impacts, there's this interesting parallel to Mycolactone that we came across in our research. Ketene, a toxic gas that's found in some vaping products.
Oh, right. Ketene, just like mycolactone, is the seemingly harmless molecule that can actually cause a lot of damage.
Yeah, and the thing is, most people don't even realize that ketene is formed when certain compounds in vaping liquids are heated.
It's a hidden danger, lurking beneath the surface. And just like mycolactone, the effects of ketene might not show up right away.
So it's another case of stealth mode chemistry,
Mm.
quietly causing damage before any obvious symptoms appear.
Precisely. It really highlights how important it is to understand the chemical transformations that can occur when substances are, heated or inhaled.
It reminds me of another parallel we found, The research on the P2X1 receptor for male contraceptives.
Ah, yes. That's a fascinating area of research. It's like, just as scientists are mapping out the structure of that P2X1 receptor to develop a non-hormonal male contraceptive, researchers are also digging deep into the structure and mechanisms of mycolactone.
So, it seems like no matter what we're talking about, whether it's preventing pregnancy or fighting a bacterial infection, understanding the molecular details is crucial
Mm-hmm.
for designing targeted therapies.
Absolutely. And in both cases, the ultimate goal is, precision
Right.
to develop treatments that are both effective and have minimal side effects.
So, what's the takeaway for our listeners? Well, for one, it's a reminder that even things that seem harmless
Mm-hmm.
can be dangerous.
Right.
And that understanding the chemistry behind, everyday stuff
Yeah.
can be super important for making informed decisions about our health.
Couldn't agree more. We can't just rely on what we see or what we feel. Sometimes we need to dig a little deeper to uncover those hidden threats and the potential solutions that are lurking at the molecular level.
And that's what we're all about here
Absolutely.
on The Deep Dive, giving you a closer look
That's right.
at the science to uncover the fascinating stories behind the headlines.
We're empowering you to have more informed conversations about science,
Okay.
whether it's at a cocktail party or in the doctor's office.
Now, let's switch gears a bit and talk about something you might find surprising. Ultramarine pigment.
Okay.
That vibrant blue that's been captivating artists and scientists.
Yeah.
For centuries,
Interesting.
who would have thought that this iconic color has a connection to chemistry?
Well, at the end of the day, everything is chemistry, right? In this case, ultramarine gets its vibrant blue color from this unique molecular structure containing complex sulfur species.
It's amazing how something we perceive as just a simple color actually involves such intricate chemical interactions.
And what's even more fascinating is that historically, this pigment was derived from lapis lazuli, this semi-precious stone.
Wow.
And the extraction process was, very skillful, very knowledge-intensive.
So it wasn't just mixing some ingredients together.
No.
It was a kind of a sophisticated chemical process.
It was.
No wonder ultramarine was such a prized commodity back then.
Absolutely. And even today, the study of its composition provides valuable insights into mineralogy. Okay.
And how light interacts with molecular structures.
So it's like this bridge between art and science,
It is.
reminding us that beauty can be found in the intricacies of chemistry.
Speaking of art and science, there's another interesting topic I think our listeners would enjoy. The revival of forgotten remedies
Oh, yeah.
from ancient medicinal texts.
That's a really exciting area of research. Tell us more about that.
So, modern analytical techniques, things like high-resolution mass spectrometry, are allowing scientists to revisit these ancient texts
Right.
and botanical extracts,
Ah.
leading to the rediscovery of potent bioactive compounds.
It's like we're rediscovering nature's pharmacy. Who knows what secrets are hidden within those ancient texts?
Exactly. And these rediscoveries
Mm-hmm.
could lead to new treatments for a whole range of diseases,
Wow.
from inflammation to cancer.
That's incredible.
It's a great example of how ancient wisdom, combined with modern technology, can really drive scientific innovation. I love that.
Yeah.
It's like we're coming full circle, recognizing the value of that traditional knowledge and integrating it with modern science.
Absolutely. And it's a good reminder that even in this age of advanced technology, we can still learn a lot from the past.
That leads us to another fascinating topic that has roots in both the past and the future: chemical upcycling.
Now, this is a really important one.
Yeah.
With this global plastic pollution crisis
Right, yeah.
looming large.
Yeah.
Chemical upcycling offers a really promising solution.
For those who might not be familiar with the term, could you explain what chemical upcycling is?
Sure. It's essentially the process of converting waste plastics into valuable products.
So instead of just recycling plastic into lower quality materials,
Right.
we're actually transforming it into something new and valuable.
Exactly. It's about closing the loop on plastic production and consumption, moving towards this more circular economy.
That sounds incredibly promising. What kind of things can we create
Yeah.
through chemical upcycling?
I mean, we're talking about transforming plastic waste into fuels, chemicals, even advanced materials.
Wow.
It's not just about, addressing the environmental impact, but also unlocking new economic opportunities.
That's great. So it's an example of how science can address both environmental and economic challenges at the same time.
Absolutely. It's a testament to the innovative spirit of chemists who are constantly seeking ways to turn waste into resources.
It's incredible how chemistry is playing such a crucial role
Yeah,
in shaping a more sustainable future.
it is. You know, this conversation makes me think about another groundbreaking technology that's kind of reshaping the scientific landscape, CRISPR.
Ah, yes. CRISPR, the gene editing tool that's making waves in medicine and beyond.
Exactly. CRISPR is a game changer because it lets scientists edit genomes with incredible precision, and it's all thanks to this naturally occurring bacterial defense mechanism.
I'm always amazed by how nature provides these kind of elegant solutions
Yeah.
to complex problems. It's like
Yeah.
nature already has the answers
Yeah.
to a lot of our scientific challenges.
It really is remarkable. In the case of CRISPR, bacteria use this system to fight off viruses
Okay.
by targeting and cutting viral DNA, and scientists have harnessed this mechanism to edit genes in a wide range of organisms,
Right.
from bacteria to humans.
And the potential applications of this technology are vast, right?
Yeah.
From curing genetic diseases to engineering disease-resistant crops, the possibilities seem endless.
Oh, they are. We're talking about potential cures for genetic diseases,
Right.
engineering disease-resistant crops,
Right.
and even combating viral infections like HIV.
It sounds like CRISPR is ushering in a new era of medicine and biotechnology.
It really is. And while there are definitely important ethical considerations surrounding the technology, there's no denying its potential to revolutionize the way we approach health and disease.
It's a great example of how understanding the complexities of the natural world can lead to powerful solutions for some of humanity's biggest challenges.
You're absolutely right. And it highlights the importance of continued scientific exploration and innovation.
Speaking of innovation, let's talk about a technology that's harnessing the power of sunlight
Yeah.
to address the climate crisis. Photocatalytic CO2 reduction.
Now, this is a truly fascinating area of research. Scientists are essentially trying to mimic nature's photosynthesis
Wow.
to transform carbon dioxide into useful fuels and chemicals.
So instead of letting CO2 build up in the atmosphere and contribute to climate change, we're capturing it and turning it into something valuable.
That's the idea, closing the carbon loop
Yeah,
and transitioning to a more sustainable energy future.
that sounds like a fantastic solution.
It is.
Can you give us a little more insight into how photocatalytic CO2 reduction works?
Sure. So it involves using these specialized materials called photocatalysts,
Okay.
which can absorb sunlight, and then use that energy to drive chemical reactions that convert CO2 into other compounds.
So it's like solar-powered chemistry,
You got it.
using sunlight to transform a harmful greenhouse gas into something beneficial.
Exactly. And the products of those reactions can be things like methanol, which can be used as fuel, or other hydrocarbons that can be used as building blocks for various materials.
This research seems like a vital step towards creating a more sustainable and climate-resilient future.
Absolutely. And it's a great example of how chemistry can play this crucial role in addressing global challenges.
This brings us to a topic that might sound like something out of a science fiction movie. High-entropy alloys.
Now, these are really fascinating materials. They really challenge our traditional understanding of metallurgy.
I'll admit I'm not familiar with high-entropy alloys. What are they all about?
Well, imagine an alloy that's not made up of one or two dominant elements,
Okay.
but a mixture of 5 or more in near equal proportions.
So instead of a traditional recipe,
Right.
it's more like a metallurgical melting pot.
That's a great way to put it. And what's amazing is when you mix these elements together in this way, you get these materials with some pretty extraordinary properties.
Like what? What makes these alloys so special?
Well, we're talking about exceptional strength, resistance to wear and tear, stability under extreme temperatures,
Wow.
harsh environments.
Sounds like the perfect material for a superhero suit.
Yeah.
But seriously, what are some of the real-world applications of these alloys?
Maybe not a superhero suit, but they do have potential in industries where materials are really pushed to their limits. Things like aerospace, energy, and defense.
It's incredible how pushing the boundaries of conventional thinking can lead to such groundbreaking discoveries.
It really is, and this research really highlights the power of exploring new frontiers in material science.
It's amazing how chemistry can change the way we design and build the world around us.
You know, while we're on the topic of pushing boundaries, let's talk about this field of research that's revealing this hidden world of gene regulation, microRNA.
Oh yes, microRNA. I've heard about these tiny molecules that have this big impact on gene expression.
That's right. Despite their small size, microRNAs play a crucial role in controlling which genes are turned on or off
Okay.
in a cell.
So they're like the puppet masters of the cellular world, pulling the strings behind the scenes.
It's a great analogy. And what's fascinating is that dysregulation of these microRNAs is linked to a wide range of diseases,
Oh, wow.
from cancer to cardiovascular disease.
So understanding how these microRNAs work could lead to new diagnostic tools and treatments for these diseases.
Absolutely. Scientists are actively looking for ways to manipulate microRNA activity
Okay.
to try to correct aberrant gene expression patterns.
It's another example of how delving into those molecular intricacies can unlock new ways to treat and prevent diseases.
It is. It's a reminder that even the smallest things in the cellular world can have a huge impact on our health.
And this brings us to a material that's often hailed as a wonder material, graphene.
Graphene is truly remarkable, a single layer of carbon atoms arranged in this hexagonal lattice.
Okay, I'm picturing like a microscopic chicken wire made of carbon atoms. What makes this structure so special?
That's a great way to think about it. And this unique structure gives graphene some extraordinary properties.
Like what makes graphene so remarkable?
It's incredibly strong,
Okay.
lightweight,
Yep.
flexible. It's also an excellent conductor of heat and electricity.
It sounds like the perfect material for, well, almost anything. What are some of the potential applications for graphene?
It's being explored for a wide range of things: electronics, energy storage, composite materials, even water filtration.
It seems like graphene has the potential to kind of revolutionize various industries. It's amazing how something as simple as a single layer of carbon atoms can have such a profound impact on technology.
You know, speaking of simple things having a big impact, let's talk about melanin.
The melanin, the pigment that gives our skin and hair its color.
The very same.
I'd be curious to learn more about that.
Well, melanin is more than just a pigment.
Okay.
It also plays a crucial role in protecting us from UV radiation.
So it's like our built-in sunscreen.
You could say that.
That's pretty amazing. What else have scientists discovered about melanin?
It absorbs UV radiation,
Okay.
which prevents it from damaging our skin cells and our DNA.
That's incredible. What else have scientists discovered about melanin?
Well, there's even more to it.
Yeah?
Recent research suggests that it might also play a role in energy conversion processes within the body.
Really? So melanin could have applications beyond just skincare and UV protection.
That's right. Scientists are exploring its potential in things like bioelectronics,
Wow.
even in developing new materials for solar energy conversion.
It's incredible how something we associate with color
Right.
is actually so much more complex and multifaceted. It's like melanin is this hidden gem
Yeah.
with untapped potential.
You know, this reminds me of another group of substances that are challenging our traditional ideas about chemistry: ionic liquids.
Ionic liquids, those sound familiar,
Hmm.
but I can't quite place them. Refresh my memory on what they are.
Ionic liquids are essentially salts that are liquid at or near room temperature. Salts that are liquid. That's not what I usually picture when I think of salt. I'm picturing, those little crystals we sprinkle on our food.
Yeah, I know, right? That's a bit counterintuitive. But they have these unique properties that make them really interesting for a variety of applications.
Like what makes ionic liquids so special?
Well, they have negligible vapor pressure,
Okay.
which means they don't evaporate easily.
Okay.
They're also thermally stable, so they can withstand high temperatures.
So they're like the superheroes of the solvent world.
Hmm.
They can handle these extreme conditions without breaking a sweat.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And because of these properties, ionic liquids are being explored as eco-friendly alternatives
Right.
to traditional organic solvents,
Okay.
which are often volatile and harmful to the environment.
So we're talking about using them in things like chemical synthesis, industrial processes.
Exactly. They're already being used in some industrial applications,
Huh.
and their use is expected to grow in the coming years. It's exciting to see how chemistry is paving the way for, more sustainable, environmentally friendly practices. It's like we're finding new ways to do chemistry without harming the planet.
This conversation about eco-friendly solutions reminds me of another intriguing topic: vaccine adjuvants.
Vaccine adjuvants. I'm not sure I'm familiar with those. What are they all about?
So adjuvants are basically substances that are added to vaccines to boost the immune response. They're like this secret ingredient that makes vaccines more effective.
Oh, so they're like the cheerleaders of the immune system,
Yeah,
getting it pumped up to fight the pathogen.
exactly. Adjuvants can make vaccines more effective by stimulating a stronger and longer-lasting immune response.
That sounds incredibly useful, especially with all these new infectious diseases emerging. We need all the help we can get to fight off these threats.
We do, and the science behind adjuvants is pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
It involves understanding how the immune system interacts
Right.
with different chemical compounds.
It's another example of how chemistry plays this crucial role in safeguarding human health. By understanding the immune system at a molecular level, we can develop new strategies for, boosting its effectiveness.
Absolutely. While we're on the topic of manipulating the immune system, this makes me think of a technology that's generating a lot of buzz and controversy. CRISPR gene drives.
Oh, yes. CRISPR gene drives. They have the potential to, rewrite the rules of evolution, right?
In a way, yes. So CRISPR gene drives are these engineered systems designed to spread specific genes through a population.
Okay.
It's like we're giving evolution a little nudge
Right.
in a specific direction.
So we're talking about, the potential to eliminate malaria
Exactly.
by modifying mosquitoes so they can't transmit the disease.
That's the idea. And it's not just about controlling diseases. Gene drives could also be used to control invasive species that are harming ecosystems.
It sounds incredibly powerful,
Yeah.
but I imagine there's some ethical concerns.
Oh, definitely.
We're basically talking about altering the course of nature, which is a pretty weighty responsibility.
It is. There are significant ecological and ethical considerations. It's a technology that requires a lot of careful thought
Right.
and responsible implementation.
Absolutely. It's a conversation we as a society need to have.
We do.
This brings us to a field of research that combines the best of both worlds, the chemical and the biological. Chemoenzymatic synthesis.
Now, this is where chemistry gets creative. We're talking about merging the precision of chemical reactions with the elegance of nature's catalysts.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more about chemoenzymatic synthesis. How does it work?
It's basically about integrating traditional chemical reactions
Right.
with enzyme-catalyzed processes to produce complex molecules.
So it's like a collaboration between chemists and Mother Nature.
You got it.
We're using the tools of chemistry
Too.
to harness the power of enzymes.
Chemists are harnessing the power of enzymes, which are nature's catalysts, to create these molecules that would be really difficult, or even impossible to synthesize using purely chemical methods.
What are the advantages of this approach? What makes it so special?
Well, enzymes can catalyze reactions with incredible specificity and under very mild conditions, which can make the processes more efficient and sustainable.
So we're talking about cleaner, greener chemistry, finding ways to create the molecules we need without generating as much waste. Or using harsh chemicals.
Exactly. And this approach is being used to produce all sorts of valuable compounds, from pharmaceuticals to fine chemicals.
That's a great example of how we can learn from nature to improve our own technological processes.
Speaking of harnessing nature's ingenuity,
Yeah.
this brings us to piezoelectric materials.
Piezoelectric materials, those sound familiar. Remind me what they're all about.
Piezoelectric materials have this remarkable ability to generate electrical charges when subjected to mechanical stress.
So they can essentially convert movement into electricity. That's amazing. What are some of the practical applications?
Exactly.
All right.
And this property has led to some incredible applications.
Like what?
Well, they're used in sensors, actuators, even energy harvesting devices.
Energy harvesting devices. What are those? I'm picturing something that can generate energy out of thin air.
They're basically devices that capture energy from things like vibrations
Right.
or pressure
Okay.
and convert it into electricity.
So imagine a device that could charge your phone just by you walking around.
That's the idea.
Wow.
Piezoelectric materials are making that kind of technology possible.
That's incredible. It's like we're tapping into this hidden source of energy that's all around us.
Speaking of hidden sources of energy, let's talk about deuterionic polymers.
Deuterionic polymers. Those sound intriguing, but I'm not familiar with them. What's so special about them?
So deuterionic polymers have this unique combination of positive and negative charges within their structure.
So they're like the molecular yin and yang.
That's one way to put it. And this balance of charges gives them some interesting properties, like self-healing and anti-fouling.
Self-healing, you mean like Wolverine?
Not quite like Wolverine.
Okay.
But these polymers can repair small defects in their structure through these reversible ionic interactions.
So if they get scratched or damaged, They can actually heal themselves.
Exactly. And the anti-fouling property means that they resist the buildup of things like proteins and bacteria on their surfaces.
So they're like the Teflon of the polymer world. Nothing sticks to them.
Haha, that's a good analogy. These properties make them ideal for things like biomedical coatings and marine applications.
Biomedical coatings, what does that mean?
It means they can be used to coat medical devices, like implants,
Okay.
to prevent the formation of biofilms,
Oh, wow.
which can lead to infections.
So these coatings can help prevent infections
Mm-hmm.
in people with implants.
That's right. And in marine applications, they can be used to coat ship hulls to prevent the buildup of barnacles and other organisms, which can improve fuel efficiency.
It's amazing how these polymers can solve problems in such diverse fields.
Mm-hmm.
From medical implants to ship hulls, they're making a real difference.
You know, while we're on the topic of diverse applications, let's talk about a metal that's both fascinating and practical, gallium.
Gallium, the metal that melts in your hand. I've seen videos of that. It's pretty mind-blowing.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Gallium has this incredibly low melting point, just slightly above room temperature.
I remember seeing a video of someone melting a spoon made of gallium.
Yeah.
Just by holding it in their hand. It was like magic. But I'm guessing there's more to gallium than just party tricks.
Oh, definitely. Gallium is much more than just a party trick. It has some really important applications in electronics and other industries.
Really? Like what are some of the practical uses for gallium?
Well, it's used in semiconductors, which
Right.
are essential components of computers and electronic devices.
Right.
It's also used in high-temperature thermometers and in alloys to improve the properties of other metals.
It's incredible how this seemingly simple metal can have such a wide range of uses. It's like the jack of all trades of the metal world.
Speaking of simple things having complex applications,
Yeah.
let's talk about thermochromic materials.
Thermochromic materials. Those sound interesting, but I need a refresher.
Wait, are they again? So thermochromic materials change color in response to changes in temperature.
Like mood rings.
Exactly. Mood rings are a classic example of thermochromic materials.
I remember those being like all the rage when I was a kid.
They're still around.
Yeah?
But thermochromic materials have applications beyond just, fashion trends.
Really? Like what else can they do?
Well, they're used in temperature-sensitive labels, which can indicate if a product has been stored at the correct temperature.
Okay.
They're also being explored for smart windows that can change their transparency
Oh, wow.
to regulate the amount of heat entering a building.
So they could potentially help us save energy.
That's right.
That's fantastic.
Thermochromic materials are another great example of how chemistry is leading the way in developing innovative solutions for a more sustainable future.
It's amazing how something as simple as a change in color can have such far-reaching implications. It's like we're using the language of color to create a more sustainable world.
You know, while we're on the topic of innovation, let's shift gears a bit and delve into the origins of life itself. Prebiotic chemistry.
Oh, that's a fascinating one. Prebiotic chemistry explores how life could have arisen from non-living matter, right?
That's right. It's a field of study that seeks to understand the chemical processes that could have led to the formation of the first living organisms.
I always find it kind of mind-boggling to think about how something as complex as life could have emerged from, just simple molecules. It's like trying to imagine how a single spark can ignite an entire forest fire.
It is mind-blowing, and prebiotic chemistry is helping us untangle that mystery.
So what are some of the key insights from this field of research? What have we learned about the origins of life?
Well, one of the most important discoveries was the Miller-Urey experiment,
Okay.
which showed that simple molecules, like amino acids, could be formed from inorganic compounds under conditions that, we believe existed on early Earth.
So we're talking like lightning strikes
Mm-hmm.
and primordial soup. It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie.
Haha, it does, doesn't it? The Miller-Urey experiment was a landmark study. It provided the first experimental evidence that the building blocks of life could arise from non-living matter.
That's incredible. So we've actually been able to recreate the conditions of early Earth in a lab.
We have.
And show that life's building blocks can emerge spontaneously.
It's amazing, isn't it? And research in this field is ongoing, uncovering new insights into the possible pathways that led to the emergence of life on our planet.
It's a fantastic example of how science can help us tackle some of the most fundamental questions about our existence. Where did we come from? How did life begin? These are questions that humans have pondered for, well, forever.
While we're on the topic of these fundamental questions, let's talk about a discovery that's revolutionized both industry and medicine: nitroglycerin.
Oh yes, nitroglycerin, the explosive compound that's also used to treat heart conditions. That's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? It can both create and destroy.
It is. Nitroglycerin was first synthesized as an explosive, and it quickly became clear that it was a very powerful one, but also incredibly volatile and dangerous.
So how did it make its way into medicine? How did something so dangerous become a treatment for heart conditions?
Well, it was discovered. Fat, in diluted form. Nitroglycerin could be used to treat angina, a condition that causes chest pain, because of reduced blood flow to the heart.
So it went from blowing things up to saving lives. It's
Cool.
quite a transformation.
It is. It's a great example of how a substance can have both destructive and beneficial applications.
It's a good reminder. That chemistry is a powerful force, and it can be used for good or for bad, depending on how it's harnessed.
Right.
It's up to us to use this knowledge wisely and responsibly.
Absolutely. And the story of nitroglycerin highlights how important it is to do responsible research and to be incredibly careful when handling potent chemical compounds.
While we're talking about potent compounds, this leads us to a topic that's, well, maybe a little less explosive, but still fascinating: brown fat.
Ah, yes, brown fat. It's a type of fat that's often called good fat because it can actually help you burn calories.
Wait, there's a type of fat
Yeah.
that helps you lose weight. Tell me more.
Haha, unlike white fat,
Hmm?
which stores energy. Brown fat is actually specialized for generating heat.
So it's like our body's internal furnace. It burns calories to keep us warm.
Exactly. Brown fat has a high concentration of mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of the cell, and these mitochondria are packed with this protein called UCP1.
Okay, I'm following so far. What does UCP1 do? How does it turn brown fat into, a calorie-burning machine?
Well, UCP1 essentially uncouples the process of energy production from ATP synthesis.
Hold on, I need a little more explanation on that. What's ATP synthesis? I'm a little rusty on my biology.
No problem. ATP is the molecule that cells use as their main energy currency. Normally, when mitochondria break down fuel molecules, they produce ATP. But in brown fat, UCP1 disrupts that process, so the energy gets released as heat, instead of being stored as ATP.
So it's like the mitochondria are running in neutral, they're generating heat, but not producing any usable energy.
Haha, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And this process is called thermogenesis.
So if we could somehow activate brown fat, we could potentially boost our metabolism
Right.
and burn more calories. Sign me up.
Haha, that's the idea, and scientists are actively researching ways to do just that.
That's exciting. Another example of how, understanding those intricacies of our bodies can lead to new strategies for improving our health and well-being. It's like we're unlocking the secrets of our own internal chemistry.
Speaking of understanding our bodies, this brings to mind another fascinating creature that's helping us unlock these secrets of human development and disease: the zebrafish.
Zebrafish, those tiny striped fish you see in aquariums. What makes them so special?
The very same. Zebrafish might seem like an unlikely hero in the world of scientific research, but they've become this invaluable model organism for studying all sorts of biological processes.
Really? What makes them so useful for research?
Well, for one thing, their embryos are transparent,
Huh.
which allows scientists to observe development in real time. It's like having a window into the earliest stages of life.
We can actually watch as these tiny creatures develop from a single cell
Exactly.
into a complex organism.
It's incredible. And because zebrafish share a surprising amount of genetic similarity with humans, the things we learn from studying them can often be applied to human health.
What kind of research are zebrafish used for? What insights are we gaining from these little fish?
Oh, all sorts. Developmental biology, genetics, toxicology, drug discovery.
Toxicology, so they can help us understand how chemicals affect living organisms.
Exactly. Zebrafish are really useful for studying the effects of chemical exposure on development.
It's amazing how such a small creature can play such a big role in advancing our understanding of human health and disease. It's a good reminder that we can learn from all creatures, big and small.
Speaking of small creatures with a big impact, let's talk about this group of molecules that kind of defy conventional wisdom: superacids.
Superacids, those sound intense. What makes them super
Well, as the name suggests, superacids are incredibly strong acids. They're much stronger than your typical acids like sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid.
Okay, I'm picturing something that could eat through steel.
Haha, you're not far off. Superacids are so strong that they can protonate substances that were once considered unreactive.
Okay, hold on a second. Remind me what protonation is again.
Sure thing. Protonation is basically the process of adding a proton, which is a positively charged hydrogen ion, to a molecule. Superacids are so good at giving away those protons that they can force them onto molecules that normally wouldn't accept them.
So it's like they're the ultimate arm twisters of the chemistry world, forcing these molecules to take protons whether they want to or not.
Haha, that's a great way to put it. And this extreme reactivity is what makes superacids so valuable. They're used in all sorts of applications, from catalysis to the synthesis of new and exciting compounds.
It sounds like superacids are opening up a whole new world of possibilities for chemists.
Absolutely. They're really pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible in chemistry.
Speaking of pushing boundaries, this next topic is all about speed microwave chemistry.
Ah, yes, microwave chemistry. Instead of using a Bunsen burner or a hot plate, we're using microwaves to heat up reactions.
So it's like using the same technology that heats up our leftovers to actually drive chemical reactions.
Exactly. And what's remarkable is that microwave heating can speed up reactions dramatically, sometimes reducing reaction times from hours to minutes.
Wow, that's a game changer. But why are microwaves so much faster than those conventional heating methods?
Well, with conventional heating, the heat has to transfer from the outside in, which can be a slow and inefficient process. But microwaves penetrate the reaction mixture and directly excite the molecules, causing them to vibrate and rotate much more rapidly. And this leads to much faster reaction rates.
So it's like giving those molecules a shot of espresso instead of waiting for them to slowly wake up.
Uh-huh. That's a perfect analogy. And microwave chemistry isn't just about speed, it can also lead to better yields and purer products.
Sounds like a win-win-win situation for chemists.
It really is. It's a great example of how technology is making chemistry faster, more efficient, and more sustainable.
This conversation about sustainability brings us to another really exciting area of research: plastic-eating enzymes.
You're talking about a potential solution to one of the biggest environmental challenges we face, plastic pollution.
It sounds almost too good to be true. Are there really enzymes that can break down plastic?
There are. Scientists have discovered enzymes produced by certain bacteria that can actually break down PT plastic, one of the most common types of plastic.
That's incredible. So instead of plastic piling up in landfills and polluting our oceans, we could use these enzymes to break it down into harmless substances.
Exactly. That's the hope. Researchers are working on optimizing these enzymes and developing ways to scale up their use for plastic recycling and environmental cleanup.
It's amazing how nature often provides us with solutions to the very problems that we create. We just need to pay attention and learn from these ingenious natural processes.
Speaking of nature's ingenuity, let's talk about another really fascinating example of biomimicry muscle-inspired adhesives.
Muscle-inspired adhesives. I'm picturing those muscles clinging to rocks, seemingly defying the power of the ocean.
Exactly. Mussels have this incredible ability to adhere to wet surfaces, even in turbulent ocean environments. And they do this by secreting special proteins that form strong bonds with a variety of materials.
So scientists are trying to mimic this natural adhesive power to create new types of glues.
Precisely. Muscle-inspired adhesives are being developed for all sorts of applications, from medical adhesives for wound closure to underwater adhesives for repairing ships and other structures.
It sounds like these adhesives could be a real game changer in fields like medicine and engineering.
They certainly have the potential to revolutionize many industries. It's a great example of how we can draw inspiration from nature to solve some of our toughest technological challenges.
This brings us to a class of materials that has the potential to revolutionize a variety of fields, from electronics to energy storage metal organic frameworks, or MOFs for short.
MOFs are truly fascinating materials. They're like microscopic sponges with an incredible amount of surface area.
Okay, I'm trying to picture this. So they're porous materials.
Extremely porous. They're made up of metal ions linked together by organic molecules. And this creates this three-dimensional structure with tons of tiny holes.
And what's so special about having all of these tiny holes? It seems counterintuitive to create a material that's mostly empty space.
Well, those holes can be used to trap and store other molecules, like gases or liquids.
So they're like molecular storage containers. We can design these tiny cages to hold specific molecules.
Exactly. And because of their high surface area and their tunable pore size, MOFs can be tailored to store very specific molecules, making them incredibly versatile.
What are some of the potential applications of MOFs? I'm imagining they could be used for a pretty wide range of things.
The possibilities are pretty vast. They're being explored for gas storage, particularly for hydrogen and natural gas, which could revolutionize the way we transport and store clean energy.
Wow, that's impressive. So we could potentially use MOF to store hydrogen fuel, which is a clean and sustainable energy source.
Exactly. They're also being investigated for carbon capture technologies to remove CO2 from the atmosphere, which could be a game changer in the fight against climate change.
That's amazing. So MOFs could help us clean up our air and reduce our reliance on fossil fuels. Sounds like a win-win.
It does. MOFs are also being explored for use in drug delivery, catalysis, and even water purification.
It's incredible how such a unique material can have such a wide range of potential applications. It's like the Swiss Army knife of materials.
It really is. MOFs are a testament to the ingenuity of chemists and material scientists, always pushing the boundaries of what's possible. They really are. MOFs are a testament to the ingenuity of chemists and material scientists, always pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Well, it seems like we've covered a lot of ground today, from the stealthy toxin behind Buruli Ulcer to the mind-boggling world of superfluidity. It's amazing how chemistry touches every aspect of our lives, from our health and well-being to the environment and technology.
It's been a fascinating journey through the molecular landscape, hasn't it? And I think it highlights something truly remarkable about science. It's a never-ending story of discovery and innovation. There's always something new to learn, something new to explore, and something new to create.
You're absolutely right. And it's this sense of wonder and possibility that makes chemistry so captivating.
So to our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep that spark of curiosity alive.
Who knows what incredible discoveries lie just around the corner? Until next time on The Deep Dive, keep exploring.